Final Fantasy XIII has been released on the PC today. Curious about the port job, I've decided to check this re-release out. If for some reason you just want to know about the game and not the PC specifics, I've added a skip annotation at the bottom of the screen for the next 10 seconds. I regret to inform you guys that the PC port is extremely poor. The game is locked at 720p and literally has no graphics options whatsoever. One redeeming factor is that the game runs, or at least tries to run, at 60 frames per second. Early reports suggest your graphics card will sometimes not realize it's running the game and go into low performance mode, causing the FPS to tank to 30 or below. Nvidia users have had some luck by changing their power management mode to prefer maximum performance. However, I cannot confirm this as I use an AMD card. If you're having issues, keep your eyes on the Steam forums for possible fixes. There is some good news, however. Modders are already taking a look at the game, including Durante. He's responsible for DS Fix, a mod that makes Dark Souls 1 playable on the PC, as well as DP Fix, which does the same thing for Deadly Premonition. Whether or not Final Fantasy XIII is fixable is undecided as of this recording, but there is hope. If there is ever a fix available, I'll put it in the description below this video. A few other things to know about the game is that it's a 50 gig download. This includes Japanese audio if you prefer to go that route. The CGI looks fine at 720p, though they were 1080p on the PlayStation 3. I'm not sure how well they'll look if we can get a mod working to raise the resolution. For keyboard and mouse users, there are very few keys that you can actually customize. There's also no mouse pointer support. It's only used as a way to move the camera around. It mostly works, but if you have a controller, that's probably still the best way to play. Final Fantasy XIII is a bit different from my other Cynopsis videos, as it's a game that I've already completed. At launch, it received a lot of criticism from fans for being too linear. For the majority of the game, you're basically running down a hallway that will lead you to your next boss fight or story cutscene. There are very few interactions with NPCs, and there are no towns to explore throughout the game. To buy new weapons and items, you simply access a save station, leaving the world to feel a bit empty. Personally, I wasn't too bothered by this. With the game built this way, there's rarely any downtime. You're always moving forward to your next objective. That said, the game is at its best in its later chapters, when the world opens up to you. You're given a huge area to explore, with a ton of side objectives to complete. This is what saves the game for me. Here you find what are called Seath Stones. 64 are scattered across the land, each with a unique mission to complete. You're rated on your performance, and you can repeat them as often as you like. It's here that you get to make use of the combat system in full, where in the main game it's just too simple to be engaging. Of course, none of this matters if you're not a fan of the combat system. Battles use a variant of the active time battle system, which they're calling Command Synergy Battle here. You have a gauge that fills and attacks that consume segments of that gauge. A normal attack may consume 1 bar, while a spell may consume 2 or more. You can wait for the gauge to fully fill, or just attack with 1 segment. This comes into play when you want to chain attacks on the enemy, with the goal being to put the enemy into a stagger state. Each attack raises the percentage under the enemy's health bar. Different types of attacks will raise the percentage more quickly, while others will slow down how fast the percentage decays back to 100. Once the enemy reaches a certain point, which is different for each enemy, they will stagger. In this state, enemies have lower defense, allowing them to be defeated more easily. The core aspect of combat is the paradigm shift system. Each character can take the role of 6 different classes, if you will. These fill your typical roles as a healer, black mage, warrior, etc. With this system, you're allowed to swap everyone in battle to a different role in an instant. However, you only control one character, the rest are controlled by the AI. This opens up some interesting strategies, changing classes back and forth as the battle demands. Each character also has a specific summon that they can use in battle. The rest of the party will leave, while the summon stays to fight the enemy. Once you've fought a few battles, it's time to progress your characters in the Crystarium. You spend points that are acquired through defeating enemies to level up each of your specific roles. This resembles the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X, though it's a bit more linear between the nodes. The catch with all these systems is that you don't have access to them at the start of the game. You can't even level up your characters when you begin. This causes the first half of the game to feel just like a tutorial. The story is a bit hard to describe. The goal at the start is to rescue Lightning's sister, Sarah. The game is shown through the eyes of different characters as you progress, until they eventually all meet up. Everyone becomes branded as a lessee, essentially giving them a mission that they must complete. I'm personally not a huge fan of the story that takes place, and the game does a poor job of explaining everything to you in a way that doesn't make them sound crazy. There are, however, a few good character moments that help to tug you along to the next corridor. As the game is now, I can't recommend anyone to buy it. Not because the game is bad, but the PC port is just awful. If it is ever fixed, it could easily be the best version of the game. Until then, keep an eye on any related forums for possible fixes. Maybe when the game is on sale, it'll actually be playable.
Let's see to the last.